Back to the Factor Uncensored. Twitter has been a staple on social media for the past 16 years, but a new app could be stealing the spotlight. If you haven't heard by now, it's called Threads. Meta launched the app 5 days ago, and in that time, it has acquired 100 million users. And traffic has slowed on Twitter. So sorry, Twitter. We're bringing in our social media expert, KRIV, on this social media month. I'm laughing because Twitter wanted me to pay for my blue check mark. I lost that, and I was like, I was too done. So I signed up with Threads.
All right, yeah, you made the switch, right?
Yes.
Everyone's kind of in limbo. On the Twitter side, the active Twitter users that are still there are like, no, we're staying here, But yeah, there's a newness.
I think I haven't even checked in on Twitter in a while.
You haven't? Oh no,
it's like CPS gonna call me.
Right, I was in there today.
Arrest me for neglecting the baby.
I was in there today because they still have searchable hashtags. They still have like active trending topics that I care about, that I have a community with. So I kind of just want to revisit, those particular, topics of conversation that are happening on Twitter.
So you're just poking your head in.
I'm sticking my head in. You're right. I have prioritized Threads and started to familiarize myself with it and getting acquainted. But it doesn't have all those functionalities and all those tools that Twitter does.
Now, what I found difficult for me was if I'm sending a video out, and we don't call it tweeting on Thread. What are we threading?
Yeah, we're threading.
If I thread a video, there's no sound for me, but other people are sending out videos and there's sound, so I have to figure that out. That's a personal problem.
Right.
But anyway, what are some of the other apps that are out there filling in for Twitter or becoming an alternative for Twitter?
Well, I want to back up. The problem you're experiencing is probably because you have an Android. Okay, I'm sorry. Crickets, all right.
Out to destroy me. All my life I had to fight, Karen, and you took that swipe.
But they're working through those little glitches. You are allowed to record up to 5 minutes of video on the Threads app, to post up to a 5-minute long video. So what the other apps that are kind of emerging or were emerging, because I do think that a come up like the one that Threads has had really does blow it out of the water for some of the smaller emerging apps.
I think the difference is Thread was ready for people. The others are beta and invitation only.
Correct. There's Blue Sky, there's the Spill app, there's Mastodon, which is like an open source app. And so there was all these apps that we talked about. And a few weeks ago, we talked about this, you and I said, Elon Musk is leaving himself wide open for a competitor to just come and swoop him under the rug because of all the damage that he was doing, and he was never able to kind of regroup and get the foundation of Twitter strong again. So it did leave the door wide open.
And we're talking about what he did in the way of charging people to get their blue check mark, limiting the number of tweets you can read, I think, is the situation, and then his politics, that's out there.
Exactly. And we talked about this too. There should have never been just one man in charge of a platform that size that has a global impact. And so the fact that he didn't backtrack from any statement, and even as of today, he posted kind of a jab at Suck. And so now we're throwing around the idea of a possible fight, like a physical fight that could take place. And
that physical fight would be between whom?
Suck and Musk. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. Wait, you haven't heard this,
no,
or have you?
I've heard it. I just don't know Suck and Musk.
Oh yeah,
I just don't know those names.
I call it at Suck and then at Elon Musk.
So it's Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg.
Right. Okay. There's a potential physical fight brewing. Now, it's brewing amongst the media. I think they have kind of said choice words to each other, like, oh, you want to meet up? Just say when. Tell me the time. But it hasn't been. Right now, they're fighting on just social media world.
And really quick, if you can compare Twitter to Threads, Are there any benefits with one or another?
Well, right now the benefit is just that you sign in. So when we're talking about 100 million signups, we're really talking about people that downloaded an app and signed in with their Instagram credentials. So they made it very, very easy. Now, because it was trending, because everyone was talking about it, 100 million users hopped over, but it's new. It's a novelty. We need to figure out what happens when that newness wears off. What purpose does it actually serve? What tools, what analytics, what is it going to provide? What value is it going to bring to the average social media user? Because if it's just a place to dump your thoughts, then people are going to reevaluate or maybe just face some burnout and go back to Instagram, go back to the platforms that bring them value.
They've got to be innovative over there to keep people interested. Thank you, Karen. Always good to see you.
Thank you.